It's all to you. It's Christoph Donnermiller from Austria.
Yep.
And from PartnerGate. Have fun. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, thanks for coming at the last day, at one of the last presentations. So it's a pleasure to have such an audience at that time. Well, as already said, when you think about web hosting and this industry, you might think, well, everything's done. It's a market everybody knows. So I was also surprised when I read these figures about there are roughly nearly 50% of SMBs still out there that even have no web presence yet. And I want to go a little bit deeper into that and give you some insights and to show you where there is additional potential for you for new customers. Well, I'm sure you're aware of that. Web hosting, the market is getting tougher, is getting harder. You see low price offers everywhere, and I've just taken some from even various countries to give you an idea what is being shown up to customers. And you might think, well, this is a tough market. Lower prices are normally something that, well, is the market already saturated? I mean, a lower price and lower prices are an indication for that. On the other hand, you might ask yourself, is lowering the price the only answer to that? Is this the only way to compete? Is this the only way to find new customers? Well, there is another answer. There is still, as I mentioned already, a huge opportunity out there. And I've been taking some numbers, maybe some of you are familiar with that. They're taken from the Parallels Global SMB Cloud Insights report. And as you see, on a global scale, but also on a, let's just take the European scale, there is still a growth potential for 22% just in web presence throughout Europe. And of course it varies between countries, but we're going to look into that more deeply. As I said, more information you'll find on that report. And if we take a look even closer into the European business, because I think most of you are from Europe and are working in a European country, you also see that, and this is actually some older figures from last year, that there is an enormous growth potential in various areas, especially for SMBs. So here is a great opportunity for you guys offering web hosting solutions to these guys. Well, to give you a little bit more details about it, where actually is the biggest potential? And the biggest potential is within the micro and small businesses. So they're the really small ones. It may be a bakery, a doctor, a lawyer, or these people. And the percentage varies between countries between 30 and 55%. You know, some markets are maybe more matured, others won't be. What they are looking for is, of course, web presence, but also value-added services. I mean, if it's mail or if it's hosted PBXs, I mean, this is a trend that has been coming up more and more in the recent years. And by the way, we just recently moved over to a hosted PBX solution within our company, and we're using that, which is an interesting alternative to things that have been there in the past. And of course, there are other areas like social media and others. Well, what are these clients looking for? What is the need? What do they want to get? First, well, they would like to be found on the internet. Well, they're not there, so I want to be there. I want to have a presence, so please find me. They may think I want to communicate with my suppliers, with my clients. So I use it as a communications platform. And of course, some of them want to sell their products over the internet too. Maybe they haven't done that before. They're looking for a new marketing channels. And also, it's about building relationships with your clients using social media to set up a communication basis, and also to involve your buyers and your clients in what you do. the fun thing is, the people I'm talking about, they're totally unfamiliar with classic web hosting terms. If you come up even with the word web hosting, they don't know what it means. And if you go even further with virtual machines, FTP, Joomla, SQL, well, it can be anything, but it doesn't mean anything to them. So, in order to address these market, you have to speak their language. Otherwise, they won't understand you. So, most of them say, well, coming back to what they were looking for, they want to be found on the internet. So they're looking for a website. I want my homepage, I want my website. So they're looking for something to build that. And of course, they say, well, if I have the website, I want to use it to communicate. I'm still amazed how many businesses still use a, let's say, standard email service email address, like GMX, T-Online, or whatever, for their company communications and not for their private communications. So that is something which can also be improved by that. I mentioned social media before, so that's something that can be added. Facebook and all the other stuff you're aware is growing, and everybody is on there, and the percentage of customers depending on your business is also growing for you. And what we also see, and I think it would be silly to ask the question, who of you has a smartphone? I think everybody in this room has a smartphone. It would be easier to ask who has not a smartphone in this room. And I would be surprised if somebody raises the hand in here. But it means that more and more users are accessing the internet via mobile phones and smartphones. So the classic access is more and more towards mobile users. So that's a need to be addressed. Well, if you have that in mind, you may think, well, where do we start? What's the beginning of all of that? And it's more or less, you first have to have your real estate. Like if you build a house, or if you do something, get the real estate. And if you're talking real estate in internet terms, well, what's this? It's the domain name. So you need something where you build on your website, your shop solution, or whatever. So it all starts with the domain name. And if you start with that, first you have to think, well, okay, I need a place where I can build my house on. So how should this place be named? So as you of course know, there's a lot of TLDs available, and there are more than 300 TLDs on a global scale, and they're all available through our system. And that allows you to select the name and also the TLD that might be associated ideally with your business. And it also includes, and I'm sure a lot of people here in this room have heard about the new TLDs, the .shops, the .webs, or .berlin, .berlin, or other ones that are coming up this year, and we're going to see the introduction of these within this and the next year, and we are also ready to take pre-registrations for that one. Well, still, very often it happens if your name is, for example, if you're a baker and your name is Smith, you may imagine that Bakery Smith is gone in the desired TLD you have. So, well, it would be interesting if you're looking for a name to get an alternative. And what I'm showing you here is a tool we offer on our system that is a name suggest tool. So what it does, I typed in wine shop, and of course wineshop.com and everything is gone. But it just shows these are names that are still available, and it not only uses different TLDs, it also uses synonyms that would work for this market. So you will be able to present this to your customers, and maybe their desired name is no longer there, but they can get another one, which is quite interesting for them. And also, seeing it from your perspective as a web hosting company, What we are using is when we talk about handles, handle data is the contact data of your clients you use to associate with domain names. And what we have is a universal handle system that allows you to use one handle for one client for multiple TLDs. So that makes it easier for you to set it up on your systems. You don't have the hassle of getting things set up in several ways. Some of you might even have your own registry accreditations, or maybe you have always been thinking about getting your registry accreditation because the number of domain names you manage under a certain TLD is big enough. So what we offer is we can fully integrate this accreditation in our domain name management system, and we technically operate that for you. So you don't have to worry about that. But you will still keep all your benefits and your status as a fully accredited registrar. So you're going to show up on the list. You can carry the logo on your website. And also you remain the direct commercial relationship with the registry. That means you're buying at the registry price. And what we more or less do is we are your technical operator. So what you do is you outsource the operation to us. Well, let's just briefly compare this situation. If you self-operate your accreditation, of course you get the domain at the registry price. You have a direct relation with the registry. But you have to, if you don't have it already, you have to develop your registry system from scratch. So that means you have to have somebody doing that. And next to developing it, you need to operate, to maintain it. So there's also staff and hardware needed to do that. And also, when registries tend to change things from time to time. So you have to get people look after it and watch out what's going on and implement these changes in the system. And now let's look at the outsourced model. If we operate your accreditation, you buy domains at registry price, no change for this. You remain the direct relationship with the registry, again no change. But you don't have to worry about developing a system. We have the system and we provide it to you. And you also don't have to assign staff, to monitor changes and implement anything that is changed at the registry. So the only thing you have, we are taking a fee for using the system from you. So this is you're paying us money instead of paying money to your employees or to somebody within your organization. So that's the calculation model, and very often the outsourcing solution is the one that brings back more money to you. Well, another thing is, if you have your domain name, you want to make sure it's not deleted and it's not going somewhere. So there are mechanisms to do that. So more or less, you put valuables, like you put the jewelry in a vault, you can also put domain names in a vault. What we have is a product that provides you a secure login or a secure deletion of domain names by a two-way authentication process. So you can make sure valuable domain names can be protected. And just recently, before I'm back there, just recently there was an instance here in Germany where domain names from insurance companies have been deleted by access at the registrar level. And as they were .de domain names, they were free and they have been registered immediately by somebody else. So it was a big hassle getting them back and so forth, make sure the insurance company gets them back. And the problem was that associated with these domain names were mail services and other important services, so they weren't available. So it is important to secure these kind of domains. And we're using a technology from Symantec here. It's called VIP. And VIP allows you to have a two-way authentication process. That means you have the normal login with user ID and password, and you have an additional one. I'm just grabbing my iPhone to show you that. What you can do, you can download either for a mobile phone or also for a browser plugin, something like this. Maybe you don't see it but it's a one-time password that is changed every 30 seconds, and you use it for login into your system or before you delete a domain name. So that cannot be monitored easily. This is difficult, and this makes it secure for your valuable domain names. Well, we spoke already about homepages and about website builder, and it is important that you do that. SMBs need that. They need something that is easy to use, that provides all the things they need, the pictures, the text, the setup, the structure. So that's something that is required. Well, we offer this with our page designer. It's a complete application that can be utilized by you, and you sell it on to your end users or even to your resellers, and you can set up resellers account as well. It includes everything that is needed for a, let's say, simple website. We're not talking sophisticated websites, we're talking simple websites. More than 300 designs, templates, tools like a chat tool, a forum tool, a whatever tool is included, and it's easy to use and straightforward. And the good thing is, you can set up an account, a test account for your client first, and it is later on tied to your FTP account. So that means if a client uses it, he can only upload what he has designed to your web server. So that's also a nice little feature that allows you to establish an even stronger customer relation. And to give you an idea, what are the costs associated with it, per user, per year, it's between 5 and 4 euro, depending on the volumes. So this is what you pay for a customer account on that system. And of course, I mentioned it is also available to resellers, so you can enable your resellers as well to set up systems for their clients. Just to give you an idea how it looks like, that's the screen, and of course, you know, it's things like you can select who you are, which design, navigation, an easy one to use. It's, as I said, it's not fancy, and I'm happy to set up test accounts for you. So if you're interested, come up to me after the presentation, and I'm happy to provide you a test account that you can take a closer look into that. And here is a screenshot from the admin panels for the resellers, so you are also able to set up resellers on that system. I spoke about mobile usage, and especially for some SMBs, if we're talking restaurants, if we're talking about shops and everything, their need for mobile content is important because they sell to people on the road, people traveling. So it might be great if they have something. I spoke about that already, and I have a figure underlining that. I mean, that's a figure from Morgan Stanley. It's not the newest one, but I think it's still valid, that it shows that at some stage, mobile internet access is going to take over, and this is even there will be more mobile users than standard users in the future. So what SMBs need in this case, they need more or less something. Okay, I have a website, and I want to make sure it can be accessed by everybody. So they need integration of the platforms. So they need multiple platforms that are available. So mobilize existing websites is one of the solutions that are the right ones to go here. And of course, there's something we can offer here. We're in the process of getting it launched. It's not there today, but that's something we will be launching in the next quarter, in Q2. And it's a mobile site creator that allows you either to mobilize an existing website or you set up a mobile website from scratch. Again, the same principle, very easy to use, easy to handle, templates, navigation, everything's in there. And it can be done very easily. Well, if you think about how can I increase business and how can I get more clients, think about extending your reach. Adding resellers is one of the answers. So if you don't have already resellers, that's a good idea to sell to more people and address more customers. Or you might have corporate users that have large domain portfolios, and you want to give them access to their portfolio. We have several clients that more or less have been asked by their customers, well, I want to see what are my domain names. I want to be able to look at things, and I want to be in a position to somehow even sometimes change something. So this is important. And the other thing is, not every web hosting company also sells domain-only products, but there's a market for that, and there are lots of other companies out there focusing on that. And why don't utilize this and setting up something by yourself? What we offer here is, in our domain name management system, there is a complete reseller system included. And it's set up for multi-tiers, so there's only one reseller level. You can have multiple reseller levels below it. And of course, it's white label, so you can incorporate your design, you can put in your logo, you can change colors, and so forth. And you even can, with our private label option, you can set up your own URL. You can change even more and make it look much more like your own application. That gives you a selling tool from day one, and you don't have to invest any euro, dollar, or whatever currency is yours into the development. And I spoke about the domains resale directly to end users. We're introducing a complete domain shop, which is intended to be set up for end users in the second half of this year. So you don't have to worry about developing it by yourself. We provide it to you, and it's also set up in a way that it can be customized and accomplishes your design requirements. I'm slowly losing my voice after 3 days. It's getting tough. Well, some of you say, well, I have my own user interface. I have my customer interface. It has been designed, and I want to use this, and I want to go away. So here's the answer. We offer an API, SOAP XML. For those of you who still use Mail, that's also available. And you can integrate our domain name management system into your application. So when you do that, you're in direct contact with our development team, and they help you and assist you in getting things done and getting it implemented. And for those of you who use, now it's the WHMCS, difficult word for me. For those of you using it, there's good news. We are supplying an add-on for that in next quarter. So if you're using it, you will be able to integrate our domain name management as well as SSL certificates. We have integrated this as well into your system. And there's more. It's not enough. I spoke about SSL already. We are a Komodo partner, so we can offer a full range of SSL certificates for you, which you may use for your products and for your clients. We also provide spam and virus protection solutions set up for providers like yourself. And what we use, we're a partner from Spam Experts here, so we offer the Spam Expert solution, the local cloud one. That means it's set up on your premises, on your systems, and you host it. And the other one we use is the Iron Port technology from Cisco, which we operate on our premises, and it's a managed service we provide for you. Why two? They're different in setup, and they're different in quality. So whatever you need and whatever your clients need, we have both offerings and both solutions for you. And the other interesting thing is, there is the primary market. It means free available domain names. There's a secondary market, domain names that have already been registered, but they're available for you and you can buy them. So what we've done, we have integrated one of the biggest platforms globally, CEDO MLS, which allows you to have access to the secondary markets, and you can register even already domain names that have been registered, and they're available for you at a fixed price with one click. And there's other things to come, like DNS services, Suez proxy services. I don't have the time to name it yet, but there's a lot more to come. Finally, just let me grab on this one again. Very often, if people think about domain names, people think about prices only. But it's important not to only look at the price. Look at your total cost of operating and of owning this one. So there are always hidden costs, like hidden support costs. What does it help to you if you buy a cheap domain name and you have to do all the service? You have to involve your time, and your staff is required to do the support. Why, if you have a registrar that provides it to you, you're saving lots of money and time. Well, look for somebody that can help you growing your business. Not only for somebody, oh, here's your price list, take it and get happy. Look for somebody that thinks, how can we implement our domain name system and strategy into your business model? Well, the other thing I also mentioned is think about the processes you run internally, and maybe, and very often you have this opportunity to outsource parts of it to somebody that does something else on a regular basis and can produce it more cost efficiently to you. I mentioned the operation of registry accreditations. That's an example for that, and you possibly save a lot of money if you outsource that. And also another thing is, working with several suppliers make things more complex. You have to use different user interfaces. You have several invoices to look at, and maybe you're saving a little by the comparing prices. But at the very end, it's very often so that if you consolidate your systems and if you consolidate your suppliers to one expert, you'll save money as well. Well, finally, just a couple of words on who we are as PartnerGate, for those of you who don't know us. We're in the business since 1996, so that means more than 17 years now. We have, of course, we're ICANN accredited, but also we have several CC/TLD accreditations. That means you're getting your domain names firsthand, and we are in direct relation with the big registries. We manage currently more than 900,000 domain names for our clients. And we understand ourselves as your business partner. The word partner is already in PartnerGate. So partnership for us means we're not competing with you. We do not offer anything that might be in competition to your services, so we don't have any end user business. We're reseller focused only. We do not offer web hosting or server products. We do only offer domain names and other stuff that you have seen before. And what we do, we take the time to sit together with you before we make an offer, before we give out a pricing model, because we need to understand how you operate and how you work. So we take the time to do that, and you get a quote that is tailored to your demand, that is tailored to your needs. And of course, I mean, the system we're using is a self-developed software as a service solution, but rather than focusing on a very techy, administrator-oriented interface, ours is focused on ease of use and flexibility, so that also people can work with it that don't eat or that don't breakfast name servers every morning, so it's easier for them to use that. And I mentioned it's a software as a service solution. We're running by ourselves. It has been designed by ourselves, and we're operating it by ourselves in Munich. And we're based in Munich. I didn't mention that. We're happy to give you more details and more information. And I would like to thank you for the attention. And I'm open to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you, Christoph. So if there are any questions, please raise your hand. I will be throwing the microphone at you. No worries.
Nobody wants it.
Oh, I will just really slowly walk towards you. No. Okay. Okay. Let me please wait for the microphone, please, because we have a camera running, so the camera can catch your question too.
Thank you. Hi, Christoph.
Hi.
So with the, you probably have an idea where my line of questioning is going to come from. So with the opportunity out there for acquiring new customers and so forth, how do you see the new GTLD initiative playing into that, and how do you think that hosters, registrars, whomever should try to really take advantage of the onset of new GTLDs?
Yeah, thanks. Well, I think the new GTLDs will offer a totally new possibility for a lot of companies, because in the past, most of the TLDs were either oriented on the country they come from or from some very generic industry terms. And if you look at the new GTLDs, there are more TLDs in future available that have a very direct focus either on an industry or on a region you're working at. So I've been discussing this with somebody else most recently, and I think the way somebody's looking for a domain name in future needs to be different. So you won't be asked, well, please type in the name you want. First, before you do that, the one asking you the question should know, what are you doing? What is your business? Who are your clients? Where are you operating? Whom do you address? And based on that, you are looking for a certain set of TLDs, talking about .web, .shop, .berlin, the ones that I mentioned before. And ideally, you get offered a bigger variety of TLDs than you get today, with names available that fit more your needs. So I think it's enriching the environment if you do it clever. If you just say, okay, there is a 500 new TLDs I can offer to you, well, great, but which one should I take? So there is a need for consultancy, there is a need for advice, and if you do that correctly, it'll be a great new potential.
Any further questions? All right. Christoph, you've been starting off your presentation with growth rates and numbers and figures. Will those growth rates be the same all over Europe, let's say, or is there a variety or difference between the countries and areas?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you look at Europe, there are different markets. There are markets that have that are more developed than others. I mean, let's take, for example, if you take the developed markets like Germany, France, the UK, and also partially even the Nordics are. But you have other countries where their potential is much higher, like in Southern Europe or in Eastern Europe. The growth rates are much higher. So there is a variation throughout the countries, and there are booming markets as in other places as well.
All right. Anybody else? Okay, talking about TLDs, the next presentation will be on TLDs as well, so you might want to stay. Actually, we're right in the middle of the next presentation already. It will be starting in a couple instances, so I would be very, very fond of you staying here. And if not so, thank you, Christoph, and thank you for your attention. Have a nice trip back where you come from.